Amazon could really use a filter out Chinese sellers option. It is so frustrating to shop on Amazon with the Chinese sellers and manufacturers on the site. The fake reviews are overwhelming. Think 50 to 90% fake reviews on FakeSpot or Review Meta, plus the products are cheap and break, and when you go back to the manufacturer, most of them don't exist after 1 to 2 years. I would assume it's the same group of people making crappy merchandise and cycling their names over and over again and buying the same fake reviews. Beyond this, I'm always worried that they put some pollutant or carcinogen into the manufacturing process because their regulations are so lax. The examples in the media are countless: toothpaste with diethylene glycol, pet food that kills our dogs and cats, toys with lead paint, makeup with lead, beryllium, bacterial contamination, cheap hardware that self-destructs after a year. And it can be so hard to tell because they often manufacture for companies like Mattel and Nestle, so you think you're getting American or European. This has been going on for decades and we just turn a blind eye to it because they're cheaper. Business ethics-wise, they're about where the US was in the 1920s. This is an example of how capitalism can result in deadly consequences without strong governmental regulation. Please feel free to downvote me into oblivion, whatever. I don't care, I'm just sick of the nonsense. Edit, thank you for the discussion. In response to comments. / of the top 100,000 sellers on Amazon, 58% are from China, 36% from the United States. This does not take into account manufacturing. / Amazon shut down its China marketplace last year because consumers weren't willing to stray from JD and Obeo, Alibaba. / authoritarian capitalism, an economic system in which a capitalistic market economy exists alongside an authoritarian government. China hasn't been a communist state in any real sense since the early 20th century, if ever. Or even more so, a made in _____ filter so you could support whatever country you wanted. Lots of Chinese sellers often have long shipping times because they wait to get enough orders to fill up a certain amount of payload. Therefore shipping takes forever because they're basically waiting for other people to place enough orders to warrant the cost of shipping the crates all at once. Yes, Chinese products are cheap and usually are a hit or miss. Their regulations are nothing to brag about, and usually it is a shitload of malfunctioning crap. Having said that, I could see Chinese suppliers using local sellers as a middleman to circumvent this filter if imposed. It is very difficult to pinpoint where your stuff is coming from, if not impossible. I don't buy things on Amazon that don't have free 2-day shipping. That usually solves this problem. That would basically filter out 90% of Amazon, if not more. I suggest you filter on brands or research a brand before you buy from them. Simply Googling brand and item will let you know a hell of a lot. If the only listings are on Amazon, and eBay possibly, then it's a brand created only for these platforms and is way more likely to be a Chinese seller. If the brand has its own manufacturer site, you can read up about it. TLDR, if the brand of the product only brings up Amazon/eBay results, it's probably a Chinese seller. A friend of mine tried to get me to go into business with him, buying small cheap items from China and then create our own SKU on Amazon. It would be the exact same product that other people have listed, but it would be a different listing on Amazon because we would have our own SKU. I don't like that people are able to do this on such a large site like Amazon. So I declined his offer. Just seems shady to me, and I don't like giving China any more money than I have to already. Not buying from Amazon will fix this problem. Amazon has turned into barely better than Wish.com. Search for headphones before you see the reputable ones like Bose, Sennheiser, Sony, JJL, Beats, Panasonic, Samsung, etc. You have to scroll shit like Oniodio, Blucar, Boltune, which look like a cheap Bose fake, Decos, Alihen. Apologies if some of the brands above are actually good, they sound like cheap Chinese brands, and are priced accordingly. Classic Reddit popular opinion. Unpopular opinion. It is definitely a problem. But it would take more to put an end to it. I've worked in retail for almost a decade. There are local companies that buy stuff from China in bulk, put it in their own sleek packaging, and sell it with an exorbitant amount of profit. All whilst upholding the illusion it is made responsibly. And then there's consumers. Just about everyone knows that if a product is cheap and made in China, it's likely crap. And yet, as Op pointed out in a comment, consumer trends show that this is what we, consumers, prefer to spend our money on. Amazon just responds to that fact. So it's the Chinese manufacturers that make crap, the local companies that dress it up, and the global companies, i.e. Amazon, that satiate consumers' rising demand for the very same crap. It is a perfect example of a vicious cycle and will only stop if it is no longer profitable. I don't have a point. This post just made me want to rant a little. I'm done now, have a nice day. Amazon needs a general purpose filter for Chinese, etc. Cheap, etc. Food, etc. Clothing, etc. 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 You know, so you only get the stuff you genuinely want to browse. As a hydro homie, fuck Nestle. So could Walmart, but then Walmart would have nothing to sell. eBay should have the same filter. Chinese companies manufacture plenty of high-quality products. Chinese companies also manufacture absolute garbage. You get what you pay for. Use common sense. Buy from Western/Japanese/Korean brands or directly from Amazon/Amazon warehouse. It's not hard. And there is nothing explicitly inferior about products manufactured in China, unless you have ideological reasons for avoiding Chinese products. Not all Chinese products are bad, especially speedcubers know this. There's brands like Gan, Dian, Moyu, etc., all of which are about 1,000,000 times better than Rubik's brand cubes. You just have to know what you're actually looking for. If you barely pay any money and expect quality, that's on you. How is this unpopular? Just don't use Amazon. I bought what I thought was a really cool Army of Darkness boomstick shirt off Amazon. It comes in the mail. Not only would it not fit me, there is not a human being in the world this shirt would fit. Very, very wide, almost no length. And the graphic on the tee looked like someone had gone over it with steel wool. I just stopped buying stuff on Amazon, solved the problem pretty quickly. Doesn't change much considering the amount of Americans who are buying cheap BS to make a huge profit. That would be a good option to have, but you really have to pay attention to what you buy on Amazon and do your own research into the seller of the item you are looking for. Personally, I stick to the things that are prime shipping, sold by Amazon, and when it's not something sold by Amazon, I dig really deep in the reviews and seller history before making the purchase. China is feeding off our greed to weaken and undermine us, and yet we play along. The bit about China made me I want to order from my country, and nowhere beyond. I want the options to filter to whatever countries I prefer. Supply and demand, those cheap options, mostly China, sure, are there because people keep buying from them. You know about Wish, surely. Holy fuck, you are so brave with this opinion, your bravery is unmatched. I applaud you, good sir, for being so brave. So brave to only buy from sellers from United States which make their goods 100% in China. American companies not enforcing basic standards is on American companies' fault. You set the rules, so if choose not to engage in double checking or more often or not implicitly encourage these shitty practice, it's on American company and not the factory. If I remember correctly, back during the lead in paint on baby toys, they traced back to Mattel telling the factory to just buy the cheapest paint. You telling someone to do the cheapest, they did. You can't be shocked when a corporation is doing the least it can to make the most profit off you. This isn't a problem of China vs American factory, it's unfettered capitalism demanding maximum profit at the expense of humanity and environment.